Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with the next installment of our Age of Apocalypse run that we've been going over. Today it is Gambit and the X-Ternals number 2. And this series, like when I was younger and I was reading through these, Gambit and the X-Ternals and Excalibur were the two that just kind of fell down the memory hole at the time because I was young and I didn't understand the whole X-Men mythos yet. But now going back and reading this, I understand why the Omicron crystal is so important and why Magneto wants them to retrieve it, and why in Generation Next, why Ileana Rasputin is so important, and same with Destiny and Excalibur. So yeah, just kind of really opened my eyes, and then of course the writers, like on Excalibur, it's Warren Ellis, or in this one, this is, what's his name? Fabian Nicieza, I believe it is. Let me double check before we even dive. Yes, okay. I'm not completely crazy. But yeah, classic X-Writers. So last time in Gambit and the X-Ternals, Magneto led this team into Apocalypse's sanctum, which was the remainder of his ship. If y'all remember from the original 616 X-Factor run, Apocalypse had a ship that was sentient that he had under his control. And here it's basically been destroyed by Magneto except for one special room that allows him to see into other galaxies and universes. And this is how they're able to, in this time it was Magneto and Peter Corbeau were able to slingshot the X-Ternals into the Shi'ar Empire. And of course, everybody's just like, where the heck are we? And just a great page, they all have that look of shock on their face. Beautiful, beautiful composition there by Tony Daniel and the art team. So this book, the print date on it was April 1995. And after that cool splash page, we get a double splash. And I just love how it says, where no external has gone before. And of course, with that little fun quote, it even has the Star Trek text, or font face, should I say. So love that. Now, before we even get into all this, let's talk about who made this particular issue. Stan Lee proudly presents a tale of universal ramifications. Fabian Nicieza, writer. Tony Daniel, penciler. Conrad Milgram, Christian, inkers. Chris Ioannopoulos doing the lettering. Murray Yavins doing the colors. Digital Chameleon doing the separations. Bob Harris, Galactic Warden. Man, I miss when editors were personable with their fans like that. So anyway, love this composition. Very dynamic, and to a degree, not so much as like an homage, but kind of a loosely, inspired. This looks kind of like a Claremont's X-Men 100, where the two teams, the classic and the new breed, are fighting each other. Just kind of reminds me of that to a degree. And so everyone doesn't know what's going on here. This is Gladiator, who we all know in the 616 has always been the leader of the Royal Imperial Guard. And he's asking them to surrender themselves because these are outsiders that have just all of a sudden appeared in this world. And of course, Guido here, he has an affinity for Leela, but she doesn't feel the same way, even though he's been her bodyguard long, before the Age of Apocalypse. And Jubilee's always calling him out on, oh, you have to just save her, make sure there's not a scratch on her pretty pink butt. And, love Jubilee, it never changes. And he's just like, keep your voice down, Jubilation. Leela, honey, are you okay? And then, of course, the coward. Sadly, they made Richter a very egotistical, narcissistic, sociopathic character. And, it shows on his face right there. And then, of course, DaCosta. He's like, Gambit, is this cop Richter who not enough coffee. Not the least of which, Gambit, is this moronic cop Richter, who's got the hots to arrest us and impress his bosses, followed us through Leela's teleportation gateway. How do you propose to get out of this one, oh wise, way out of his depth, fearless leader? So I like how the characters are spot on, especially Sunspot with his attitude. And before anything can really be decided, Guardian is just not having it, so they attack the X-Ternals. And they're able to hold their own, like Sunfire goes up against, Sunspot goes up against Starbolt. And yeah, some interesting things ensue there. And of course, the intensity of Guardian, this charade has gone on long enough. And he goes to smash the X-Men, smacks it over Guido. 'Tis done. 'Tis not, Mohawk, and just bam. That's the strong guy that I know. So yeah, he knocks Gladiator for a good loop. Gambit finds a place where they can kind of reprieve and disappear into the woods, which is like a forest here on this planet. But something happens, and we're introduced to this silhouette character, and we're just kind of like, well, what's gonna happen here? So something happens with the X-Ternals here. Something happens with Richter that kind of gives him a little bit of leverage with the Royal Guard. And then the silhouetted character, I'll go ahead and spoil that. His name is Jonah. And he kind of explains how he used to be part of the Shi'ar Empire, and how they were kind of forced into being assassins when Daken took over. You're saying, Daken? Wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be Lilandra's turf? Well, in this hellscape that is the Age of Apocalypse, he explains what happens with Warbird and Lilandra. If you want to know what it is, read the book. It is very tragic. Now, before anything else can happen, because he tries to explain what the M'Kraan crystal is, well, here comes the Imperial Guard with their new buddy, Richter, which I hate seeing Richter as a bad guy, because he's always one of my favorite X-Factor characters. So, battle ensues, and as they're fighting, this blink keeps happening. And what it is this planet that they're on. I can never pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. But what is happening is they're calling it the Oracle, who's part of the Imperial Guard, is talking about the Nexus expansion. And she's talking about how she wished that Emperor Daken had never discovered this damn crystal, as she says. So, sound familiar from X-Men number 41? Kind of interesting what the M'Kraan crystal has planned here. Well, this planet is about to die. And you come to find out that the M'Kraan crystal wanted to show the X-Ternals this. So you see that there's this kind of this destiny where they have to save the universe, and the M'Kraan crystal wants their help. But before they can get frozen by it, they are saved by none other than a very kind of semi-different looking Starjammers. So the rest of the X-Ternal book kind of takes mostly place in space. Now the last issue, from what I semi-remember, is really heartbreaking. I don't want to give it away. We will eventually get into it. But just kind of like with the Blink series, this kind of takes you out of the element and kind of gives you a different look at other universes. So like here you get the Shi'ar Empire, or in Blink how you get to see the Negative Zone, which is a Fantastic Four thing. So really cool idea in that sense. And to just see Guido and Guardian go at it, and to see Sunspot and Starbolt, really, really cool stuff. So if you guys have enjoyed what you've seen with this book, please first and foremost, always check with your local comic shop to pick up a copy. If not, then you can go other routes. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a minute to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next to subscribe. That way, as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love to hear your feedback and have a dialogue with y'all down in the comments below. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.